in the past. The message has been very clear. The messaging has been consistent and clear to the Chinese that militarily, if pushed against the wall or the sovereignty or territorial integrity of India comes into question, the forces would take a tough posture and react accordingly with full military force if so required. But also, India would want the issue to be resolved through talks and would want the PLA to restore status quo ante that was there in April before things escalated. And especially at Pangong So, now that it has happened at PP14 in Gogra and Hot Springs, the focus now clearly is on Pangong So. And the latest round of the commander level, the senior commander level, corps commander level talks was to basically hammer out a consensus on easing the tensions in the finger area near the Pangong So and the Depsang plains and pulling back of the weapons, equipment, troops from the friction points in other sectors as well. So I think today's visit, this two-day visit of the defense minister while would be a morale boosting exercise for the forces, what would be a review preparedness exercise for the higher echelons of the defense establishment of the country, but also would it be sending a message that look to China and to the world that while India would want these talks to hammer out a consensus and both the armies pull back and maintain in the interest of maintenance of peace, calm and tranquility on the border, but India in no way is letting its military guard down.
All right, Amrit, our correspondent Ramesh Chandra is joining us from Leh. Ramesh, we see Defence Minister present for the demonstration, the demonstration on the coordinated efforts of Air Force and Army. Let us know more about this joint exercise between the Air Force and the Army.
Yeah, just now Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has arrived at the venue and now the signal has begun for the demonstration. And this demonstration is basically how coordinated these forces are on the ground. The forces of Indian Air Force and Indian Army, how they are coordinating with each other on a given situation, how well prepared they are to support each other and to complement each other on a given situation. This is a scene that is been created here to test their coordination and preparedness, how well they are and how precise they are in if a situation is given here at a war situation like. Now, in a few moments, I think we will be receiving Indian Army's paratroopers shortly, and you can see now the already paratroopers are taken off from aircraft, and they are landing here at the given place, designated place here where smoke was given. They will come and land here at the place where the smoke is given now. You could see the visuals how paratroopers can be injected at a given situation and enemy territory, and they can get the job done for the Indian Army or Indian people. You can see in the background of blue sky and white clouds, the paratroopers are about to land in Rambirpur paratrooping lands.
All right, Ramesh, yes, we can see that in the visuals. Now, when we talk of how important this visit is, definitely it would boost up the morale of the forces, of the soldiers, our forces who are stationed at the LAC. I would want you to also get us more and tell us more about the topographical details of the area where the clashes took place, because we tell our viewers that this is indeed a very difficult terrain for the forces to survive on, and also Pangong So and Depsang Plains and also the Fingal area. Let us know more about these areas.
Yeah, this Leh Ladakh region is at an altitude of 15,000 feet from mean sea level, and this region is by all means it is the toughest terrain for both on climatic conditions and terrain conditions also. Now you can see how the sharp mountains are there in the foreground of your screen, and this is for 6 months you experience very cold conditions which falls into minus 20 and minus 30, and at places like Siachen it goes even minus 50s, and such climatic conditions, Army and Air Force, they are on 24 hours visual about securing Indian territory and Indian borders in the region. We have a vast line of axial control where it is difficult even to reach on normal conditions. In such conditions, Army is 24 hours guarding the border lines here in Eastern Ladakh region, especially where now certain friction is happening and stand-up is happening. Now you can see how paratroopers are now about to land just at the designated place and at the marked place on the foreground. You can see how paratroopers of Indian Army are landing here.
And for our viewers,
we were talking about the climatic conditions.
Yes.
In such minus conditions, minus temperature conditions, where you have 30 to 40% less oxygen available for you, and you have more energy to, you need to have more energy to move even further. In such difficult situations, Army has to take the full weight of at least 25 to 50 kilos, depending on the situation and depending on the requirement. They have to carry that, and all that only is possible just when you have the commitment for the and love for the country.
yes, so here we see the paratroopers land and for
Hello. Hello. Hello.
yes, Ramesh, do stay with us. And Defense Minister is in Ladakh, and he will be, he is reviewing the preparedness of our security forces at the LAC. And this visit comes after Prime Minister visited Eastern Ladakh some 2 weeks back, and here we have Defense Minister in his first visit. As his first visit, we have Defense Minister here. He is also accompanied by Army Chief General M. Narvane and Chief of Defense Staff General Bipin Rawat. And also, as we speak, we are seeing that Defense Minister is witnessing the joint exercise between Indian Air Force and the Army. And also after this, he will address the troops as well who are stationed at the LAC. Now, Ramesh, you were talking of the terrain and the tough climatic conditions in the area. When we're talking of these joint exercises, let us know more as to how important are these exercises when it comes to important and crucial times.
Yeah, these are the exercises which gives you gives the support to the army soldiers who and paramilitary forces who are at the forward posts, which are very far from the normal the supporting points from mainland. So these like paratroopers or the helicopters are these operated by the Indian Air Force and supported to support the ground forces of Indian Army or paramilitary. This coordination has to be very precise, and you have to communicate things very accurately so that you will get the support on ground at required point in time. And this is one of the demonstrations that when you need some equipment or some equipment like arms ammunition, you have to opt for this to send immediately quick mode to the ground forces. This will give them a support, and this will enhance their capability to safeguard the Indian territory at the forward post.
All right, Ramesh, also when we talk of the day ahead of the Defence Minister in Eastern Ladakh, we tell our viewers that he will also address the troops who are stationed there at the LSE. Tell us more about the program ahead of the Defence Minister in Eastern Ladakh.
Hello.
Yes, Ramesh, if I'm audible, let us know more details about the day ahead of the Defence Minister in Eastern Ladakh.
Yeah, after this demonstration, which now has started 5 minutes ago, this will go for another around half an hour time, where you will see slithering, and now paratrooping is almost concluded, and last paratrooper is about to land at Ranbirpur paratrooping area. And once this is done, the slithering of from helicopters as the same exercise like to inject the arm and ammunition and men to required ground forces. After this, there will be a demonstration of how the communication systems work between the ground forces and how they can go and attack the enemy installations and enemy command centers. We can see on the ground enemy command center, which now I think I'll ask my cameraman Sudhirji to show the command center, which is kept for demonstration. This we'll see how from various corners they can attack at a time with precise movements by the armed forces. This is going to be happen now. And after that, there will be demonstration of tanks. This terrain which you see is almost similar like the borders on the Eastern Ladakh region. This terrain depicts how the actual terrain looks like on the forward post. So you will see how the tanks will move and how what are all the difficulties, conditions, and how fastly they can reach to the forward areas and can attack the enemy installations or enemy.
All right, even as we speak,
there.
we see Defence Minister Rajnath Singh as the man of the action, rather man in the action himself. And here we have Defence Minister taking stock of the preparedness at the LAC in Eastern Ladakh. This is Defence Minister's first visit post India-China standoff in Eastern Ladakh, and here we also have Army Chief General M.M. Narvane and also Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat and other senior officials. The Defence Minister is witnessing the joint exercise between the Army and the Air Force. We are joined in by our correspondent Ramesh, who has spelled out the importance of these joint exercises and how important and crucial these exercises are in difficult times. Now, Ramesh, when we talk of disengagement between the two sides, we saw that the second phase of disengagement is still in progress between India and China, and we also learned that the disengagement has to be verified on each side. Now, let us know more about the current situation when we talk of the disengagement that is happening at the LAC.
After day before yesterday's meeting, which went almost 15 hours are over, the main focus was on the finger fort, where the Pengangsu finger fort, where Indian Army has categorically asked to vacate everything, all installations, all temporary establishments, whatever was erected by the PLA. This has to be done in a time-bound manner, and this has to be verified by both the sides of PLA and Indian Army. This is one area where right now after this demonstration, Defense Minister Rajnath Singh will be going, and now you can see Apache on screen, which is another latest arm in Indian Air Force, which is taken from USA, and this can support air-to-air attacks and air-to-ground support also. This is the latest attack assault chopper which Indian Air Force has. And when we talk about the disengagement, this defense minister right now, after this event, will be going to Pangong So, and where at Lukung post, which is a forward area post, he will be addressing the forces and paramilitary forces there, and which is just juxtaposed to the Singapore, where you can see with naked eye what is going on the other side of the Pangong So. This is one contentional area where the day before yesterday's talks focused on. The other area is Depsang Plains, which is at the forward area on slightly western side to Pangong So, which is also very strategical post for Indian side, and is asking PLA has to vacate that area as well. So these are all the two contentional areas where day before yesterday's talks were focused on, and Defense Minister will be on the ground at the ground zero, and will see what is exactly happening and what conditions, in what condition army people are working, and how they are safeguarding the Indian territory at Pangong So or other places in eastern Ladakh.
All right, you're telling us, Ramesh, that the Defense Minister will take stock of the disengagement, and also we in this joint exercise we see the expertise of both the Army and the Indian force at display. Let us know more as to this also shows, in fact, the military might of the country when we talk of preparedness, when we talk of, reacting and to the crisis situation. So these kinds of demonstrations, these types of exercises, not only on one hand show the military might of the country, but also at the same time also give a strong message to the rest of the world how well prepared we are, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. See, as I was a while ago was saying, Prime Minister clearly said only weaker people will bet, and a stronger person will propose the peace. So we are at stronger position, and we have this might, and we have this strength, and we have the commitment to protect our territory if somebody tries to take any advantage of this. So this is one such exercise where we can show ourselves, we can show our country, and we can show our country people, and at the same time we can show the enemy also how strong we are and how coordinated we are, and how this one of the biggest army in the world can do what all they can do. So this definitely sends a strong signal to enemy not to do any adventure with India and go by the peace. It has to be reinstated at the Eastern Ladakh region.
All right, talking again of these demonstrations, Ramesh, let us know more details about the weaponry or the aircrafts which are being used in this demonstration.
You can see the choppers where army people are delivering their choppers to ground at designated places. You may be seen more dust actually rising here due to chopper blades. But at the same time, in the sky, you can see the latest chopper which is acquired from USA, the Apache. You can see the these Apaches are the latest assault choppers, which can give missile attack, gun attack, and air-to-air attack, and air-to-surface attack. These are all the latest modern technologies which we have with Indian Air Force and in proper segment. And these can give nightmares to any enemy at any point in time. And these are all our strengths. And we have another globe master in chopper section, the Chinook, which can transport over 50, 60 armed persons at any given point in time in high altitude places like this in eastern Ladakh region. This is the which we are seeing is Air Force, the might of Air Force, which we could see here in the skies of Ladakh region here. And at the same time, after a while now, we can see moving of ground forces where they are in a coordinated manner. They are moving towards a command center where they will go for an attack, and they'll see how they can attack any enemy establishment or any enemy command center, which is nerve center for their movement, and they can go and dart precisely and get back to safer position. You can see now on the screen how forces are moving at the four corners of command center, which is depicted here in Ranbirpur ground.
Yes, Ramesh, this is the demonstration which we are witnessing, and also Defence Minister Rajnath Singh during his first visit to eastern Ladakh after the India-China standoff. At present, our correspondent Amrit Pal is joining us. Amrit, now we see in line with this visit, we've seen how vehemently, in strong words, Prime Minister talked of how India will never bow down to any power. Added to this, now after this standoff between the two countries, we see there, somewhere the trust factor has got hampered between the two countries. But at the same time, we've seen disengagement happen. We've seen both the sides on the talking table and trying to find a solution. So there is optimism and positivity as well. So where do we stand when we talk of the relationship between the two countries, and how do we move forward from here on?
Well, the two countries in principle agree that, differences should not be allowed to become disputes. This has been agreed at the highest level, at the highest political level between Prime Minister Modi and President Xi, both at Wuhan and later at Mamallapuram, and reflects in the Mamallapuram, with the Wuhan spirit in the Mamallapuram document. But what we saw by the PLA in the past few months is clearly expansionism and military expansionism, which of course would have some sort of, if not overt, but overt political backing to it. And given that situation, India has very clearly told the Chinese, and as the Prime Minister also said when he went to Leh, that the era of expansionism is over. If China thinks that it can get into geographical expansionism by military might, India reserves the right to respond to it with its own military might. And the kind of demonstration that you're seeing today in the presence of the Defence Minister and the Army Chief and the CDS is basically that. These are the optics of what you're seeing. The optics is signaling to the enemy/adversary, which in military terms means China in the present state, or specifically the People's Liberation Army, that the Indian military might to take on the adversary is at its highest operational alert levels, and India will adopt a tough posture when it comes to guarding its borders, its territorial integrity, its sovereignty. And the political leadership from the Prime Minister, now the Defence Minister visiting that. So there is a messaging and signaling is very clear that India is firm, would be firm when it comes to dealing with any sort of military transgression or aggression. As far as the talks go, the two countries have been engaged in talks at various levels. At the political level, when the SR spoke, NSA Doval and Foreign Minister and State Councillor Wang Yi, when the two foreign ministers spoke over the phone, the WMCC's 2 rounds have happened, core commander level talks have happened. hotline talks happen daily. So at the military, diplomatic and political level, including invoking the institutionalized mechanisms of WMCC and the SR level talks. So clearly India has signaled to China it would want to diffuse the situation, it would want disengagement and a complete disengagement at that, and restoration of the status quo ante to the position that it was in April this year. India would want this to happen through talks in a peaceful and cordial atmosphere, in a step-by-step and a verifiable manner. But having said that, the military guard is in no way down, because as you know, you get diplomatic heft only when you have military strength on the ground. Preeti?
All right, Amrit, that was one part of it. Now, also we've seen India has raised its concern over China's investments in Pakistan-administered Kashmir, as we see that India has voiced objection to the Daimir Basha multi-purpose dam. Also, what do you make of the, how are events evolving on that side? How do you read the unfolding of the events?
So the MEA reacted by saying that the construction of dam and altering of the territorial or physical realities in the territory, which is Indian territory, but in illegal occupation of Pakistan, referring to the building of that dam in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, clearly taking objection to it. And India has time and again taken objection to, say, the CPEC, the BRI, saying that these are projects which affect the territory and violate the territorial integrity of India, because they pass through illegally occupied Indian territory, and you are altering the status quo, you're altering the physical conditions there, and India will oppose this tooth and nail at every fora. And the statement or the reaction by the Ministry of External Affairs yesterday to the building of the dam is keeping in line with the consistent reaction or opposition of India to, as I said, the CPEC projects,
yes,
the BRI initiative, which India has not joined and has opposed completely. So that is in line with that. Preeti?
All right, Amrit, thank you for joining us with those. Concludes his visit in eastern Ladakh. He will head towards Srinagar for talks with the Lieutenant General there, the Lieutenant Governor there, also to assess the situation at the LOC. At present, we see Defence Minister
अभी मूवमेंट दिखाना
at eastern Ladakh, and Ramesh, our correspondent, is present there. Ramesh, we see that the demonstration has ended. Let us know what next is up the agenda for the Defence Minister in eastern Ladakh.
Yeah, now the demonstration here at Rambipur is over now. Defence Minister is about to take off for Lukung, where he'll be reaching to Pangangsu, where he'll be addressing the armed forces and paramilitary forces at Lukung Post, which is the forward post in the eastern Ladakh region, and which is just opposite to the one of the friction points right now in discussion, that is Finger 4 at Pangangsu. From any moment from now, Rajnath Singh, Defence Minister, will be leaving for Lukung from Leh.
All right, Lukung is a combined post where the Indian Army and the Indo-Tibetan Border Police are stationed. Ramesh, in a while from now, we will see Defence Minister address the troops and the soldiers, the forces who are stationed at the LSE. Very quickly, for the knowledge of our viewers who joined us late, give us a gist of the demonstration which we just witnessed.
See, this demonstration which was witnessed by the Defence Minister and CDS Bipin Rawat, General Bipin Rawat, and Chief of Army Staff M.M. Naravane, this is the coordination and the communications between the Indian Air Force and Indian Army at any given situation, how well coordinated and well-oiled machinery that works in a country's defense and to support the ground staff at forward post. Now we have witnessed here at Rambirpur in Leh the paratrooping of how the paratroopers can be injected in enemy territory in when requirement is arises, and how they can go and do the job done for the country. And the other thing we have seen is the slithering, where we need not to remind how army can go and do the job in places in occupied Kashmir. We have seen in a couple of years ago. These are all the techniques which Indian Army and Air Force or Navy for that matter. This is the coordinated effort only now can secure the country sovereignty. This is how they practice this coordination at time to time to test their preparedness and to test their communications, how communications reach to each other and each other forces, because these three are different portions here, different languages, but the commitment is same: protect the country at any cost. And for that, they can do any heroics and any adventures, like we have seen here, paratrooping from such a height, and they drop at precisely at the given place, and this is how the coordinated efforts of tri-forces protect the country. Now Rajnath Singh ji is leaving for Lukung. He is leaving the venue at Ranbirpur now, and he will be taking chopper from at the place where he landed here.
Yes, and at Lukung, the Defence Minister will address the troops, the soldiers stationed there. Here we see him leave the venue after witnessing the demonstration, the joint demonstration, collaborated and coordinated demonstration between the Indian Air Force and the Indian Army in Eastern Ladakh. This is Defence Minister's first visit to Eastern Ladakh after India-China standoff, and also we saw Prime Minister visited Eastern Ladakh some 2 weeks back, and that also was indeed a morale booster for the forces who were stationed in these difficult, prohibiting climatic conditions, in these climatic conditions, who are stationed at the LAC. And also we saw the Prime Minister in clear, stern words vehemently saying that India will reply back to any misadventure by any country, and this is not the era of military expansionism. I beg your pardon. And from here, the Defence Minister is headed towards Lukung, and there he will address the troops who are stationed at the post along the LAC. Also, after the Defence Minister concludes his visit from Eastern Ladakh, he will be heading towards Jammu and Kashmir, where he will also take stock of the preparedness at the LOC. And he will be also holding discussions and interactions with the LG in Jammu and Kashmir. So that was the gist of the Defence Minister's visit till now in Eastern Ladakh. And as we told you, this is the first visit of the Defence Minister to Eastern Ladakh after the standoff between India and China. But at the same time, we also tell you that this visit comes in the backdrop of the marathon talks, almost of 15 hours, which happened between both the sides, talking of and materializing the second phase of disengagement, which is happening at the LAC. And these talks were held on the 14th of this month at Chushul. And put all these things together, Defence Minister's visit is indeed crucial. And we also had our reporters joining us from Eastern Ladakh, and also our correspondent covering external affairs, both spelling out the importance and the significance of this visit. So as of now, that's it in this edition of the news. We'll keep track of the ongoings there. And all right, before we leave, we'll get to these visuals coming in again from Eastern Ladakh. We have Defence Minister Rajnath Singh in Eastern Ladakh, and our correspondent Ramesh is also there. Ramesh, let us know more about what we are seeing on our screens right now.
Yeah, Defense Minister, before he is leaving for Lukung, again he unscheduledly stopped himself and he could not resist himself to stop at tankers. And he is interacting with the tanker troops, and you can see on screen how they are enthused. This is what actually the visit makes difference in armed forces at the forward post. So how quickly they are reaching to the minister, and this is how they get motivated when they see the minister, the political leaders, how they are encouraging and how they are standing, and behind them how the entire country is standing with the army people at toughest terrain conditions and climatic conditions when they are serving the
Yes,
country.
indeed. This is what the Prime Minister also said, how the entire nation is thankful for the services of our armed forces who are stationed at different borders and are protecting our country, are protecting the common people and the sovereignty of the country. Now, you're talking of the morale booster, Ramesh. Definitely, it indeed is for the soldiers who are away from their families, who are giving out their services at such tough terrains, difficult climatic conditions, and also you also spoke of how difficult the areas are when we talk of the topographical details of the areas where these troops are stationed. And at present, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is on his way to Lukung Post, where he will address the soldiers who are stationed there. He will address the troops there. Just a while back, before leaving for Lukung, here we had him have the group photograph, the photo op happening with the troops, where the joint exercise between the army and the Indian force happened. At present, or rather in a short while from now, the Defence Minister will reach Lukung Post, and there he will address the soldiers. We'll keep you updated. As of now, that's it in this edition of the News this hour. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.